umpires. We're small in number, but I'm sure the quality is here, and I'm sure we'll have lots of good answers. I won't be too mean on you picking on people, but if I find you're not making eye contact, then I might. So just, that's a teacher in there coming out. But welcome down. We thought it was important to have at least once a year all the boundary umpires here. I think we've got something like about 90 boundary umpires in the VAFA. And unfortunately, for lots of various reasons, we don't get to see too many here at training, and also having a couple of other training bases at Fitzroy and Werribee doesn't help. But we thought it was important to get most of the boundaries here on 2 or 3 nights and give you the same sort of message. So there'll be a lot of important things we'll talk about throughout the night. The game that was on just before you came in, one of the stars from that game has just walked in. Does anyone know what game that was?
Thanks, mate.
That was the day before the game that was pre-Richmond.
Yeah, it was the curtain raise up to the Dream Time at the G game, and Mitch Jones, who just walked in, was one of the umpires fortunate enough to umpire that game. Come up the front, don't be right back there. Do you want to tell us a bit about that game, a bit about the experience about running on the MCG? Just tell us a bit about it. Tell us how you prepared for the game and what it was like.
Well, we got to go out before the game. On the ground, had a bit of a kick, which is good because there was no one on the ground, so it was, yeah, so we did pretty much. So we just walked around the ground. Then the game was very fast because it was the Indigenous place, so they just didn't start running. So short quarters, like, which were good.
There were very few throw-ins, weren't there?
Yeah, very few.
I mean, there's probably a lot of work for you running up and down the ground, you guys, but there wasn't actually a lot of throw-ins to do. So yeah, no, it was a good experience. Hopefully some of you guys, I don't know if we're going to do the game next year or not, but yeah, it's a really good experience, Mitch, so you can sit down now. I just want to start off playing you a little bit of footage from game from, I feel it's the 21st, no, it's not from the 21st of July, it's from June actually. I just want you to have a look at some good things and maybe some not so good things that the boundary umpire does.
Who's the boundary umpire?
You don't have to name it.
It's like, is it me?
It's not in this room. So. There's probably one good thing that he did. Anyone pick up the good thing that he did?
Rocky's on.
Okay, we'll say 2. That was one thing. He did signal. What else? What else? When he signalled, what else did he do?
Looked at the field.
Right. Correct. Right. So when you signal, you have to look at the field umpire. I'm sure most of you know that. Why do you have to do that, Mitch?
So you know he's going to play out of bounds.
Right. He might play something else. So yeah, you just need to check with him. Okay. What were some of the negatives, Matt? What was one of the negatives?
I think he was just standing still. He wasn't really moving towards the ball.
Yeah. And what else about his stance?
Or he was lazy. He wasn't upright.
Yeah, and hands on hips was a bad look too. What else about positioning?
Probably about 3 metres
For the play.
from the actual boundary line.
So he was back from the line instead of being on the line. Okay, yeah, all right. Anything else?
They're too close to the play.
Yeah. So what's the problem with that, Daniel? Being too close to the play?
To get hit.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get if you get in the way, the players aren't going to be too happy if it stops them from getting to the ball. So you need to be back away from the play. Yeah. So he's a first year boundary, so we can probably forgive him. But you can't actually see it. But he also had a whistle that wasn't on his fingers. It was just some little toy whistle that was in his mouth the whole time. So maybe that was our fault. Maybe we didn't tell him what sort of whistle he should have got. But yeah, it wasn't a good look. I'll show you one of his other decisions coming up. So he reckon he signalled on the full. It's a bad look. Okay, so if you signal on the full, Kieran, in this situation you signal on the full, what should you do then?
He's got to mark where the ball went out.
Right,
Right.
mark when the ball went off and then get out of there. You don't want to be if you hang around like that, that sort of, so you think, well, maybe I'm not so confident about the decision, right, mark it and then get out of there. If the field umpire wants to, he'll come in, but yeah, he just hangs around there, so it's not a good look. Yeah, there, somewhere there. And as you'll see, it wasn't the right decision. Barely bounced on the line, but anyway. Okay, so just looking at the positioning of the boundary umpire here, this is from Saturday. This is a Premier game, no-go game. Okay, Jonty, what do you reckon about his positioning?
No, it's pretty good.
Good, he's
20 metres
good
off the
position
line.
to be able to see
Yeah.
whether it's going to bounce or not.
I could probably be, I'd go probably a metre off the line so it's like a more clear angle.
Because of the curve? Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Mitch, what do you reckon?
I would have said the same thing, just straighten up a bit.
Was the kick in?
Pardon?
Was the kick in?
Yeah, I'll land well in, yeah, the players touch it, yeah, yeah.
No, I mean, was it a point?
No, that's from the wing, so yeah.
Oh, right.
That's from the wing. Yeah, so the position's pretty good. The other point to make is that as a boundary umpire, you have to be really alert for noticing whether the field umpire calls touch, like it wasn't touch, but I'm just making the point that it's not a good look if the ball goes out of bounds on the full and you signal out of bounds on the full, but the field umpire's called touch play on, so you need to stay alert in that situation if there is a call of touch play on. Okay, one more from that game. And as you can see, the conditions were horrendous as they were in most grounds on Saturday. Okay, so the field umpire's just, there's a ball up about 35 metres out from goal. So boundary umpire, Geordie's on the post, which is correct position for a ball up, close to goal. And the ball gets kicked out of the pack. Sec. Okay, goal umpire's moving across. Okay, who can tell me what your role as a boundary umpire is? Sam, what's your role as a boundary umpire in this situation?
To let the goal umpire know that it didn't touch the post.
Right, so how would you assist the goal umpire in that situation?
Maybe talk with him,
Yeah?
like to say it was a behind.
Right, so make eye contact, maybe point and yell out yours, something like that. Okay, so you need to make eye contact. Seen quite a few times in games this year where umpires, they realise it's going through for a point, so they'll just nick off, or it's out of bounds and they'll just, or if it's like a long kick across and they'll just signal out of bounds without even looking at the goal umpire. And it's a bad look then if the goal umpire is tapping his chest. Does anyone know why the goal umpire taps his chest? Why that came in? Does anyone know what that actually means?
It's across the post over missed or something.
What it actually means is it's a signal for you guys. Like nowadays the goal umpires tap their chest every single time it goes through for a point. About 10 years ago, they only used to tap their chest if boundary umpires were caught a long way behind the play, and it was a signal to the boundary umpire so the boundary umpire knew he didn't have to keep running to the post, so he could stop where he was getting ready for the kick in. So that's actually why they tap their chest. It's a signal for the boundary umpires. That's what it was originally, but now they do it every time it goes through for a point. So yeah, you've got to make eye contact, got to communicate with the goal umpire. So that's just simple thinking. How many people have ever read a rule book? Maybe if you feel umpire, you might have, Jonty, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, a while ago, okay. There is a specific section dealing with boundary umpires and some of the rules relating to boundary umpires. How many read through the questions that I sent for homework last week?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Quite
Go through some of them. Okay. The player kicks the ball to himself at a kick in, and the ball bounces out of bounds. What's the decision, Ryan?
Out of bounds full. He's kicked it to himself. Wait, has he taken?
It's a kick in, kicks to himself, and then runs and kicks it, bounces out of bounds.
Oh, so he's repossessed it after he's kicked it.
Correct.
Oh, and it's just out of bounds.
Just a throw in?
Yeah.
Correct, right. Okay. It's probably most boundary umpires at some stage, well, not most, but a lot have probably got that wrong where they haven't seen that the player's kicked it into himself. But yeah, if you kick it to himself, it's a play on. If it bounces out of bounds, it's just a throw in. Ball up or boundary throw in. One ruckman knocks the ball out of bounds on the full. What do you do, Mitch? Right, so ruck contest, the ball gets punched out on the full, you have to signal out of bounds on the full. What will the field umpire do when you signal out of bounds on the full, Kieran?
I'm not sure.
Matt,
Would he come to you and ask you if anyone touched it before it went out?
he might do that. If he's absolutely sure that only one ruckman has knocked it out of bounds on the full, he'll blow his whistle and signal deliberate, because it's deliberate out of bounds if you knock it out on the full from a ruck contest. If he's unsure, he'll probably blow his whistle. He'll come and ask you, are you sure if it's come off just one guy's hand? I'm not really sure. I reckon they both might have touched it, so we'll just go with a throw in. Have any of you had that? Field umpire do that? Ever? No? That's what they should be doing if they're not sure. Often it's not clear, especially at a boundary throw in whose hand it's come off. But if one guy just clearly punches it out and bounds on the full, if you reckon there's two sets of hands on it, you still have to signal out of bounds on the full. Okay? Okay, player has a free kick or a mark in the last line of defence. He goes back over the boundary line, boundary side of the point post. Ball comes off the side of his boot, hits the behind post. What do you reckon, Rod?
We discussed it, debated. I wasn't sure. I thought about on the full because he's not behind the scoring.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is he still outside of the field of play?
Yeah, he's still outside the field of play.
I don't think it's out in the full.
It's a throw-in, correct.
It's
Right.
never entered.
Ball hasn't entered the field of play, so it's a throw-in, correct. Similarly, around the ground, player's got the ball on the wing outside the boundary line. He kicks the ball, it doesn't enter the field of play, but goes over the fence or stays out of bounds. It's a throw-in back at the spot where he kicked it from. Has anyone ever had that in a game?
I think I did.
You have? Did you get it right?
I think I did, but it was like last year. It was. I'm pretty sure the field umpires lived on me. Yeah.
They did or they didn't?
I did.
Good, okay. They weren't, yeah. Okay, now similar to the last one I said about the post, if a player's got the ball, he's taken a mark near the goal line, he goes back over the scoring line, the ball comes off the side of his boot, hits the behind post on the full. What's that, Matt?
Right, the behind post is in the
Point post, yeah?
Yeah.
Hits one of the point posts, so I take the mark, I go back over the scoring line, I kick it, comes off the side of the boot, hits the behind post.
Is
Hang
he
on,
still,
hang on, so your brother reckons he knows it.
It'll be the goal umpire's call.
Okay, what do you reckon?
is he still outside the ground when he kicks it?
He's over the scoring line, yep, near where the goal umpire is.
So would it just be a point because he hasn't really gone past
You asking me or telling me?
Is he
Uh,
using a kick?
You can go, Kieran, he gets another kick, correct. Happened in an AFL game about 3 weeks ago, and the field umpire stuffed it up. They didn't do it right, but yeah, he gets another kick. So if you're behind the scoring lines and you kick it into any of the posts, he gets another kick. Okay?
As a kick out or something.
No, just any time. If you go behind the scoring line and you kick it and it hits one of the posts, then, like, so this is a defender kicking it back into play, hits one of the posts, he gets another kick, because it says it in the rule book, that's why, that's
Yeah.
just the reason why. Player's got the ball on the wing, it's taken a long time to kick, field umpire whistles him up, and then says, move it on please, he doesn't kick it straight away, the field umpire calls play on. What do you do, Mitch?
Would it be out? Fine.
Would it be?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, Rod, you shaking your head?
No, I think you just let him take his kick.
Right.
Unless you get
It's only a throw in if he changes direction. So that's where you have to really be alert and paying attention. Is the field umpire just calling? So the field umpires around the ground, after 6 to 7 seconds, they will say move it on. They will blow their whistle, then they'll say move it on please, and then they call play on straight away. So you have to be alert. Is that play on call because the field umpire just wants him to kick it, or is it play on because he's changed direction? If it's play on because he's changed direction, that's when bang, out of bounds, throw in. So if the player's outside the line, as soon as he changes direction, now you have to wait for the field umpire's calling play on. But if you're umpiring with, say, an inexperienced field umpire, which sometimes might happen if you're doing under-19 game, and you can clearly see the player has changed direction, but the field umpire hasn't called it, or don't have a problem with you signalling out of bounds. But if you're doing the top grades, then hopefully most of the umpires will do that correctly. What about if the ball comes off you? Player kicks it long, you happen to be in the way, it comes off you, goes out of bounds on the full. Yes?
Ask the umpire to bowl it up where would you?
Ball up, I mean,
It's on the full, it's just bad luck. If it comes off you, it's play on. Yeah.
Adam,
If the ball comes off you, play continues. So if it comes off you, goes on the full, players are going to curse you, but it's just bad luck. It comes off an official, it's you. Comes off you, goes on the full, it's on the full. It's just bad luck. Okay, centre ball up. On the field umpire coming in, I'm starting my approach. You notice there are 5 players already in the square. What can you do about it, Mitch?
Tell the field umpire.
Right, you can't pay a free kick. If there's 5 already in there, you can't pay a free kick. You can tell the field umpire if they happen to be near you, he can pay a free kick, but for some dumb reason, in the rule book, boundary umpires can't pay a free kick in that situation. However, you can pay a free kick if a player enters the square after the field umpire starts his or her approach.
oh, it's after you start the approach.
Yes, the square is locked. Once the field umpire starts to walk in, okay, that's when it's locked. So similarly, and one of the next questions was, if one team has only 3 players in the square, field umpire starts their approach, a 4th player comes in, because you're allowed to have 4 in, bad luck, you can't come into the square, even if they've only got 1. If they've got no players in there, bad luck, players cannot come in once the field umpire starts their approach. When you pay a centre square infringement, who can run me through the process? We had one on Saturday at DLR at the start of the second quarter where it took about 45 seconds for the communication between the boundary and field umpire because of the boundary umpire said the wrong thing. Field umpire was very confused. The other field umpire then had to come in and it just took forever to sort it out. So if you blow a centre square infringement, Kieran, you're an experienced umpire, what do you do?
First thing I do is obviously blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle, and then?
And then I point in the direction of the freeze.
Yeah.
And I'd say against DLR or whatever.
Exactly, simple as that. Blow your whistle against whoever, point and go. That's all you need to do. Okay? Don't say, what you said was perfect, right? We want to say against whatever the team because it's a free against that player, that team for entering the square or pushing another player in, whatever it happens to be. Okay, last one about a reportable incident. Who has had a report in this room at some stage? Okay, tell us about it, Matt.
well, the play, he got a red card and he just got sent off.
So did the field umpires report as well, or just you?
Oh, the field umpires reported.
Oh, as well at the
Yeah.
same time. Okay. Has someone had one where the field umpires haven't reported, where it's just been you as a boundary umpire? Okay, Kieran, tell us about it.
This was a while ago, about 5 years ago. It was a water boy hit a player.
Really?
It
Okay,
was,
yeah.
way out of play, right in front of him in the wing. But
Yeah.
the ball was down in the 50. And I didn't pay anything, but I told them at the quarter break.
Right. So the rulebook says you have to tell them before the start of the next quarter. If it's the end of the game, obviously that's a bit different, but before the start of the next quarter, you have to notify the player. So ideally, when you see a reportable incident and no one else has seen it, at the next break in play, which might be a ball up, it might be a throw in. If you have a throw in, before you get the ball, run to the field umpire and say, I want to make a report. Field umpire will probably say, well, what did you see? What happened? And then he or she might say, absolutely sure. And you say, yes, I've got the two numbers, and blah, blah, blah. And then the field umpire should take you to the players concerned. And you yourself, not the field umpire, has to tell the players of the report. So you would say, player number 5, I'm reporting you for striking. Do you understand? End of conversation. And then the same with the player who might have been struck if there is another player that it's against. And then the field umpire will hold up the the red or the black card and send the player off. Okay? So it's you who has to tell them, not the field umpire. Anyone got a question about that? Okay, good. Alright, what I want to do now is show you some things from a tape that the VFL umpires get shown at the start of the year, the VFL boundary umpires. And hopefully there'll be some things on there that might help with positioning and some little technical things. So there's some people in here that think they might want to, next year or in a few years, try to umpire at the VFL. No?
Are there?
Are there some that might want to have a go? Okay. As a boundary or field umpire? Because I'm trying to convert some of you to field umpires. Boundary athletes, so yeah, well, okay. So the rest of you obviously want to try as field umpires. Is everyone know? Put your hand up.
I'm too old.
So you never know. There's opportunities, not. Okay, so we're going to look at some of the things on the tape. Basically, as someone mentioned before at the start, a lot of your positioning is to do with being on the line. You want to be in line, so you've got a good opportunity to see the line, to see whether the ball goes out of bounds or not. Like if you notice, the goal umpires usually don't stand back on the fence if there's a decision close to the line, if it's going over the line or not. They're usually right up on the line or astride the line so they can see if the ball does actually go out of bounds. So it'll be a similar thing with you guys.
Telecast here, and we've already got extended time.
I'll just go to the next decision. No, actually, I might go back. I'll go back. I'll go to 7. Okay, this first one's just a pretty basic sort of thing.
Well, staff, the modern footballers, well, know that the free players of yesteryear were also great, but it's reckless these days.
What's the boundary umpire doing at the end there?
Throwing to the ball.
Right, that's also your job, okay? You have to retrieve the ball, except if it goes over the fence, but sometimes players will kick the ball back to you, but that's really taking off, sprint to get the ball. Obviously that's an expectation at that level. But yeah, we do expect you to get the ball if there's, but usually in our footy, often players get it back to you anyway, but yeah, that's one thing. And some of our guys are really good at doing that. But boundary umpire, as you saw, was in really good position, waited and waited. He didn't have his whistle up to his mouth, anticipating that the ball was going to go out of bounds. Just waited, didn't put his whistle up till the ball completely went over the line.
Like shower. positions and the form that we're seeing from Werribee today, they should win both of those games, and if they do that, they'll go into the final.
Okay. Someone tell me about the signal.
Touch.
Matt,
Touched.
can you stand up and show us how that signal goes? So you blow your whistle,
Yeah.
signal out of bounds, and
Touched.
how many taps?
3.
3 taps, yeah, 3 taps on the hand, yeah, to signal. And he was facing the field umpire the whole time.
A 4-match winning streak and with plenty of...
Now, this next one contains a big boo-boo by the boundary umpire. Mr. Butler, what's his error?
I personally didn't see one.
Okay, the decision was right.
Can you run through the...
Mr. McCaffrey?
Has he run through the mark?
Right, why don't you do that?
It's the play on it gets straight away.
Right. So, you also don't run past him here, you have to wait here, behind him.
So you don't see.
So even if the mark isn't quite, isn't set yet.
You gotta wait.
Yeah.
You gotta wait, yeah, you can't, sometimes it's okay to go wide here, but usually you should be waiting back here, but never run through the mark.
So you don't point to the spot.
No,
No.
no, you stay back, because if he plays on quickly and you're pointing to the spot, well, and you get in the way, he's not going to be happy, like it's a chance to kick a goal here, so yeah. But generally around the ground, no, you don't, okay? Does anyone run through the mark?
Probably most of them.
But yeah, that's VFL level, that's TSC Cup, so it's a bad error for someone at VFL level is getting 150 bucks a game, shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. Okay, next one, we're listening for the communication with the field umpire. VFL senior game. Okay, what actually is a kick, Sam?
The whole foot, like down there.
What's the rule say? Matt?
Below the knee.
Below the knee, right, below the knee is a kick, anywhere below the knee is a kick. And that's the correct decision, went out of bounds on the full. And it was really good, the communication was quick, he just said on the full or whatever he said, and field umpire took his word for it, play went on, there was only about 5 seconds wasted, so it was done really quickly, and I haven't. Has anyone not had a consultation with a field umpire this year where the field umpire's asked you a question? Everyone's had one? Yeah? Good. Told them to consult a lot more and check on things if you're unsure or if they're unsure or if there's a bit of doubt. So, it's good. It says in my notes here that it was actually the wrong decision, but he seemed really confident, got away with it because he looked confident about it. He went to the field umpire, and if you play a whistle loud and you look confident, well, there's not much questioning of that. Got away with it because he looked confident about it, got on with the job quickly. No one really questioned it, but if you're umming and ahhing and not sure about it, well, people are going to question you, and it's not a good look. Again, the boundary umpire was in good position, about